Hello, my name is Dan Skipbound, and this is my review for American Made, the latest film starring Tom Cruise and directed by Doug Liman, also starring Donald Gleason. Now, of course, we see this film. We start out with this film when, Tom Cruise plays a character by the name of Barry Seal. He's a TWA pilot, and he's basically kind of going through the motions of his life. You see him, welcome to Seattle, welcome to Salt Lake City, welcome to this city, welcome to that city. So he's basically, that's just showing us that basically this is what he does. He's a pilot and he does his job, and kind of going through life until one day he's in a bar and he's approached by Donald Gleason's character, and I guess he figured out that he's illegally selling cigars on the side. And so he says, well, what if I can make you a better deal? And he convinces him basically to join the CIA as a pilot, going back and forth from some South American countries on the verge of war, and these different leaders like Noriega and people like that, and places like Nicaragua. And so he ends up getting involved in a drug trade and then a war that the CIA is involved in with Nicaragua and the Condinistas in South American country. And so Barry's kind of like, this is like a whirlwind. He tells his wife, hey, we got to move, we got to do this, we got to do that. We're making money. She doesn't know where the money's coming from until eventually he has to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is where the money's coming from. And then they end up moving to Arkansas, Mena, Arkansas, where it's basically 2,000 acres of nothing except, guess what? There's an airfield in there. And so he's able to fly in and out of Arkansas, going to these South American countries. And he ends up getting involved with some shady people, and other than the Condinistas and the CIA in Nicaragua, he ends up getting into the Medellin cartel, the Mexican drug trade. And so this means more money, basically what he's doing is flying a small plane, and he's in over his head. He's doing a lot of things that is very dangerous, Barry Seal. But he likes what he's doing. It's the thrill of doing all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, other agencies, the DEA, the FBI, they want in on the action. They want to get involved in this. And so there's this scene where he gets arrested by all these different sheriffs and drug enforcement agencies and the FBI and everything. Guess what? He gets out because he's doing something the government wants him to do. And then we get some cameos from people like Oliver North and people like that, and Ronald Reagan. Of course, they have to get some old footage of Ronald Reagan because he's obviously not alive. So they had to get some footage from the time. And how they tell this story is kind of like a narrative of Barry Seal talking about his exploits between the 70s and the early 80s, but he's recording all of this into VHS cassette tapes. And at one point, he's going from hotel to hotel to hotel, trying to get all these tapes recorded because this is his side of the story. Of course, when you're dealing with drugs and you're dealing with foreign communist countries and you're dealing with drug cartels and you're dealing with the law, things are going to eventually catch up to you. But they really have a tongue-in-cheek way of, they really wink their eye at the screen in this story because it's so far-fetched. Yeah, have we seen drug trafficking movies before? Have we seen movies where guys are over their head and stuff that you never expected them to do before? Sure, we have. But this is another version of that, and Tom Cruise really sells this character and sells this story, which is really enjoyable for the viewer because we don't get to see the shady side of things as often, but it's a fun story. And Tom Cruise, where in The Mummy, he was kind of like a action adventure guy who turns into a mummy. Maybe he was a little bit out of his element in that film. I don't know. I didn't hate The Mummy, but this is more the kind of Tom Cruise we come to know and love. And of course, in the movie, go figure. He's 55 and he's got a wife in the movie who's in her 20s or early 30s. So she's like a 20-something-year-old difference in him. She looks like she's like a model. But Tom Cruise, he's the biggest star in the world, so he can get whoever to say, hey, we want her to be the wife. And he looks a lot younger than he actually is. Even though he does show a little bit of his age in the film, the way he dresses, he kind of looks younger. He still looks in his mid 30s, so he's viable as this character of Barry Seal. And Donald Gleason's really cool because he's just like, hey, I got this job. You want to do it? Yeah, sure. He's offering him all these different jobs and stuff. This is a fun movie. It's, of course, these kinds of movies, you've seen a lot of them. So, I mean, is it the best one? Probably not. Is it the worst one? No, it's right in the middle of the pack. So I give American Made a see it. And this has been my review of American Made. My name is Dan Skipallen, and I'll talk to you later.